Been working on the 7. It's like an artist's work. This is. Jesus, I just snorted there. It's a work in. It's an art. It's a thing in progress. I wouldn't say it's a thing of beauty. Anyway, we've got all the heads back on. Everything's adjusted and done up there, but I dropped a bolt inside the motor. Now I've searched around looking for this bolt and haven't found it. I've pulled all the covers off the side, out of the sump and everything else, and I can't find it. So I'm thinking, because I had a cover off the side, this cover here, I don't know, you probably can't see that, but anyway, had that off the side, and it has an oil line connected that goes up to the head, and I cracked it when I taken the head off. So I'm thinking, because I can't find it, I've had that bore scope thing up inside the motor and down the top and everything else, and I'm thinking, since I can't find it, maybe it shot out onto the floor. Now, because this floor is in pristine, clean, what's the right word for it? Disinfected, almost hospital-like cleanliness on the floor. Don't look too close. I can't find the bolt. So that's all I can put it down to, because I can't find it anywhere inside the motor. I've spent days searching, pulling things apart, never found it, even a hint of it. So today's plan is we'll put that back together, put the covers back on, put the sump back on. This has been apart now for a couple of weeks because I got busy making hay and delivering hay and harvesting a crop of millet, and it just doesn't end. I don't know what, life's just sucky, isn't it? So that's my plan. These are all the things I need to do. Now I'll put oil filter housing back on. I tried to pull the cover out for the tackets, but without pulling the injector pump off, I don't want to do that. I had enough problems without looking for more. It'll be fine. That's enough for me. So this is the cover. That's obviously 4, 3, 2, 1, and then there's a cover on each side of the sump. Up in there, on each side of the sump there's a cover. They're a really well thought out old machine. This is 1942, I think. For what they are, they're very, very well thought out and very well built. Obviously, because it's 65 years old. And still going. Says a lot about Caterpillar, doesn't it? Funny thing about the world, it's now the dry season. We had 6 inches of rain yesterday in the tropics, and in the wet season I was lucky to get 6 inches of rain for the whole wet season. Now, I'm just taking the rubber off the outside, and you can actually see how big the steel is, and it's going to end up about spot on. Okay, we've made the whatever you call it, the keeper thing for the cork gasket to keep the moisture out of the pre-comp chamber. Now the nut you can see has been butchered with a cold chisel. None of this was done by me. I'd do far worse probably. So before I put it back in, I want to try to fix this up. Now I could pull the injector apart, but I'm not really clean enough here to do anything like that. Excuse me. So, I'm just going to weld it up and then grind it back. How do we stop it getting too hot? Secret weapon. Paintbrush. Weld a little, paint a little. And to keep that nice and cool while you're working. That's my plan. I've seen my father do it before, not with injectors, with other things that you want to stop getting very hot. And it's amazing how much you can actually get done without going too crazy. Anyway, into it. I haven't ground it back, welded it up, but have a look at this, how hot it didn't get. There's insulation tape that goes around to where the pipe goes into the injector. It's burned a bit of it, but hey, it hasn't burned it off. All those gaps are welded up. We'll give them a bit of a grind back, and there you go, look at that. Put my hand on it, Be a lot hotter than that in the motor. It was running all day. Okay, the Paul built one, the Caterpillar one. Now you can't get this. I know this welding, you're going to look at it and you go, oh no, that's not perfect, but it's not the point. The point is I can now grip that with the tool that you've got to use to wind the injector in and out with. The point is, I'm sure someone more skilled and more dedicated than me, but I'm just not that type of person. The point is, it's now got the cork gasket on it. It now has a cork gasket. So it's now watertight again. The point is, it's no longer chiselled over. And I suppose it only took a few hours, you know, and end of the day, that's pretty good for what it is, I think. And you can't buy these anymore. That's the thing. So it was a 62. Hang on, I'll get the pack. So this oil seal, 62mm outside, 40mm inside, and it was 5mm thick. Now I've ground that down a couple of mil. I took all the rubber off, and I only had to file a 15th out of the internals so I could get it over the thread. It doesn't drop off, like force it over the thread to get it started. If you're buying a seal to do it, you'd probably see if you can get like a 3mm or 4mm thick one. If not, it only took a few seconds on the grinder. I used a bench grinder and just held onto it, just sort of on the face there. But heck, that's a result. I don't care what the experts say. They always have lots to say better than I do. But that's a result. Bloody good on me. Yeah, you could grind it more, but the more I dick around with it, the more chance there is of something going wrong, you know. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, when you put these back in, put heaps of never sees, anti-sees. This is so faded you can't read it anymore, Paul. It's anti-sees, Loctite type thing. Grey, gets in everything, sticks like shit to a blanket. On there, and so you can at least stand a chance to get it all back out without making a hell of a mess later on. And even when you do the pre-combustion chambers that these screw into, you put heaps of that on as well. So I know this isn't spot on, but there's a normal one, a cat one, a cat one, and a Paul repaired one. That's pretty darn sexy, I reckon.